The truth.
The truth.
The truth.
The truth.
The truth.
The truth.
The truth about Hawaii. These are the things we wish we knew before we moved here.
What's it like living in Hawaii as a scuba instructor?
What is it like?
Did we talk? And dolphin again.
Okay, we're gonna answer some questions from friends in our condiment club. So Jennifer from Florida wants to know, which is the best island to dive at?
The main Hawaiian islands, right, the ones that everybody knows. Kauai is the oldest island, so we have the most erosion. You can see the ground all around us is just eroded red soil. All of that gets pulled out into the water, so our water is very, very dirty. We're also a very, very, very shallow island. We don't have steep volcanic drop-offs like some of the other islands.
How does my skin look?
Get out of here.
See, I'm shallow.
Anyway, all the nutrients get run out from the fresh water in Kauai, so we get a lot of green sea turtles. I personally feel like Kauai has the most green sea turtles out of the main islands. When we went to Oahu, we saw lots of dolphins. I feel like they've got the most eagle rays. There was eagle rays all over the place, and they also have some pretty cool shipwrecks that we dove, so that was awesome. And then we went to Maui. Maui had incredible blue water, incredible visibility, and Malo Wharf was probably one of my favorite shore dives that I've ever done. You guys can click the link right up there. From Maui, we also did Lanai and Molokai. Molokai sucked. Awful. We were supposed to see hammerheads. We didn't see shit. We just dropped off the side of a boat in the same spot twice. And Lanai was cool. It had lots of pretty coral in Lanai. Cathedrals was really cool, but guacamole, the frogfish, was the coolest thing we saw out there for sure. Delilah also found a sick octopus there. Well, I'll never forget that. Do we have that in the video? I forget. Kona. Kona's got manta rays and great white sharks. That's all you need to know. There's hella manta rays there. It's really cool.
Our friend Cosmo lives there, and he's great at his job. And we made a video about him. If you want to watch it, it's right here.
Right up there. I think all of the islands are very different in all of their diving, but Maui is the best.
Not to mention whales. Here in Kauai, we see whales on the surface, but it's very unlikely you'll ever see one underwater. But in Maui, there's just so many more whales. When there were 65 whales here, there were 600 in Maui. So just your chances of seeing a whale underwater are so much higher. Plus you get to hear him singing. Incredible.
Right. Mike from North Carolina, he asked if the water is cold.
I certainly think so. We moved here from the Caribbean, where I would get cold in the winter.
To answer your question, no. The water is not cold out here.
And
it's 75, 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, but Delilah is a sissy. Alright, she wears a dry set.
Summer here is comparable to winter in Mexico. And winter in Mexico is cold. And that's summer here. You don't even want to think about what winter is like here. It's colder than you'd ever believe.
I think as instructors, we're in the water multiple times a day. You know, we're holding a lot more still because we're watching everybody, and you know, we have to be first ones in the water, last ones out of the water. We jump into more off the boats, we do lessons in the morning, stuff like that. So we spend a lot longer in the water, and for that I think it's very chilly. I wear a 7mm.
Anastasia from Russia wanted to ask us, as a scuba instructor, do you make good tips in Hawaii? So I actually work as a server and a scuba instructor, and as a server I make 20%. As a scuba instructor, you're lucky to make $20 a diver, but they're booking like a $200 dive, so that's 10%, and you're lucky. So why people will give you a 20% tip because you brought them a steak knife on time and a pasta spoon, but they will give you a 10% tip if you keep them safe, are ready to rescue them if anything bad happens, showed them cool shit, lugged around tanks and weights. Like, it blows my mind. If you're going out to eat and you're tipping 20%, you should be tipping your instructors and dive masters 20%. It's crazy. Tip better.
Let's be honest, tipping culture in diving isn't that great anyways. Alright, if you enjoy your service with a scuba professional, you should tip them accordingly. You'd be surprised how little we make and how much any tip really does mean to us.
Sam from New Zealand wants to know, can you dive with whales and dolphins?
Every single day, the super pod of dolphins comes in and they break apart into a bunch of little pods, family groups, right? Mostly female, maybe a couple of males in there. And they go and find these sheltered little lagoons. Specifically at one of our shore dive sites, the only shore diving site, Kauai Landing, every single morning when the whales aren't around, the dolphins come by sometime between 8:30 and 10 o'clock in the morning. And when it's not whale season, I got really good at getting to the shore dive at the right time in the morning, and you can swim straight out into the middle of the sand and just sit there and rest. And while you're sitting there and rest, the dolphins just come out of nowhere to scan you. And they look at you, they swim around you a couple of times, you know, maybe, you know, spin around and do stuff like that, and then off they go on their own way. So I've seen dolphins underwater several times.
But the dolphins aren't protected. Spinner dolphins need to rest and sleep during the day, so boats are not supposed to approach them, and you're not supposed to get in the water with them. I've had it where I would be on a boat and I would jump in to tie the boat up to the mooring, and while I was doing that, dolphins would go by. That would be magical, but you basically have to already be at a dive site when the dolphins go through if you're on a boat, because they're not going to let you just jump off the boat to be with dolphins. Same with whales. The whale regulations are that all boats must be 100 meters away, and that you cannot set yourself up in a position to where you drift by them. So whale watching tours usually watch from 100 meters away, but no one's jumping in the water. So to see one underwater is really luck of the draw. You have to, I mean, it's never happened to us. We've been here a year and a half, but some people will go to Maui for 5 days and it'll happen, so you never know. Woo! Here's my whale impression. Okay, Grayson from California wanted to know, when is the worst time to travel to Hawaii to dive? Well, I don't necessarily know about the other islands, but in Kauai, it's probably worse from January to March. And that is because it rains a lot, and Kauai being the garden island, so lush and green, the rain goes down the mountains into the rivers with runoff water, and then just the diving becomes very brown. That's also like whale season. It's like the time you would come to see whales.
But go to Maui.
Yeah, it's just also the rainy season. So I would say summer here is great. You won't see whales during the summer. Sharks. But it's so beautiful and calm. Great weather every day. Summer is sick, and you can get away with a 3mm wetsuit. Dennis from Colorado wants to know, are there a lot of sharks?
There's a lot of sharks around. There's mostly white-tip reef sharks, but the white-tip reef sharks are really territorial, so you get to know where they hang out in different areas. And they hang out a little bit deeper. They're normally like 75 to like 90 feet, sometimes deeper than 100. Anytime you see the sharks in really shallow, they're pretty much just kind of cruising by. And that's more of a rare occurrence. In the summertime is when Mustard and I have seen the most sharks. We'll see white-tip reef sharks at the landing. We'll get, you know, Galapagos sharks swimming around us at the harbor. Sometimes we see gray reef sharks. And then there's always the option of going out to Niihau. That's during the summer. And I mean, there's a reef shark nursery at Niihau. You can see 30 sharks at one time, but there's lots of sharks there.
has asked us if there is a 50% chance of seeing a tiger shark on a dive, why have I had a 100% failure rate?
Well, SJ, this is why. This is our local Facebook group where they find dead tiger sharks that have been shot by fishermen, as well as white-tip reef sharks. They normally kill them before they're at sexual maturity, so they haven't had a chance to pup yet. For example, this was a 7 or 8 foot female that maybe was seen once or twice around the island on dives before a fisherman got a hold of them. So if you're willing to dive in really bad visibility, you have a fairly decent chance of finding these sharks. We've seen huge hammerheads here. Haven't seen any tiger sharks, mostly because they're all shot. But over on the other Hawaiian islands where they chum the waters, they promise you a 50% chance.
Jim from Australia wants to know, how is the coral health? Well, I would say I was highly disappointed when I moved here. It seems like you're just diving and looking at rocks. There are rocks with a little bit of hard coral on them. There are rocks without hard coral. There are sand patches. It's not that incredible. We did go to Lanai, and there was some healthy hard coral, a field of hard coral. It was really beautiful, but it's nothing compared to what we have seen in the Caribbean, where there are soft corals, fan corals, sponges. It's just kind of a letdown.
The diving out here is just lava tubes and lava craters and fields of lava, at least in Kauai. And like occasionally we literally have like 4 types of coral. There's wire corals, there's mushroom corals that sometimes get really big, there's cauliflower corals, and there's staghorn corals, and that's it. There's a lot of algae, and there's a lot of algae eaters, but there's no soft corals here at all.
Why we moved here was the chance of seeing big things. In the Caribbean, I only saw their sharks. I wanted to see big sharks, and I saw school and hammerhead sharks. I wanted to see whales. I've seen whales. It's really like a bare, rocky expanse of endless ocean where you may once every 50 dives see a pelagic creature. Anna from Croatia wants to know, what is the vibe of the dive companies in Hawaii?
Ask me.
Okay, what I would say is that Hawaii, being part of the United States of America, is very profit driven. So definitely numbers on a boat are going to be high. Like lots of people on the tour if possible. If they can take the booking, they take it. And if it rains and the visibility is not the worst, but it's not the best, they're definitely running that tour and you're not getting your money back. It's definitely more about the company and less about divers' overall happiness. It really seems it's more like, I don't care if you saw nothing, you paid for it. I hope you had fun.
I feel like the newer your dive master is to the island, the more fun you're gonna have on your dives. That's how I feel.
Okay, next question. David from the UK wants to know, are monk seals aggressive?
Yes.
Well, if you want to see a lot of footage about monk seals, you can watch our Nihao video. It's up here. And monk seals, they can be aggressive just like snitch can. Show them how aggressive it can be. See, he doesn't want to be held. Monk seals don't want to be held.
So it's like, you know, don't be stupid. And you're probably going to be pretty safe around them. They're pretty fat and lazy and happy animals.
What is a monk seal? A monk seal is a warm water seal. They're critically endangered. There's 1,200 to 1,400 left, depending on what day of the week. You're not allowed to approach them, touch them. If you see them sleeping on the beach, don't get within 15 feet of them. Don't be a bad tourist. Respect the animals. But anyways, finally went to Niihau, and I saw so many monk seals. They adopted the groups of divers. They did little spins, then did bubble O-rings at them. It was sick. Monk seals are amazing, and they should be on your bucket list. Next question.
Yeah.
Teresa from Colorado wants to know what happened to Dijon, and when is the last time we saw Dijon?
All right, for everybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, not this Dijon, but I found a hawksbill turtle, which around here is very, very rare. So rare that if you find one and you document it, they take your pictures and they run it through facial recognition software to see if it's ever been documented before. If it hasn't been, you get to name the turtle. So I found a hawksbill, I took its photo, I named it Dijon. It's all on hawksbills.org or something, you guys can look it up. But it was hanging out at the harbor here for a little while. So yeah, it was really cool that Delilah got a turtle named after her. Anyways, how is Dijon? I saw Dijon like
5 days ago.
Yeah, 4 or 5 days ago. We went diving out in the harbor. Yeah, Dijon is missing a fin or a flipper. So there's now a 3-legged turtle.
Dumpy Dijon.
It seemed like a fairly clean cut, so I kind of think Dijon got hit by a boat. Shark bites are a little bit more rugged, and I haven't seen any big sharks around lately, so.
Our friend Talia from Canada wants to know, is it okay to touch an octopus? The answer is, if you're in Hawaii, yes.
Yeah, you can touch them in Hawaii. They're hunted, everybody eats them. They kind of like divers because we're a lot nicer than spear fishermen are. So most of the time they just like come out of their hole, hang around, change colors, change textures. Common place here, there you go, right there. Whale on its side, way over there. So right there, see the fin? Smack, spout, tail,
Yes!
fin right up. Smack. But anyways, octopus. They like divers, we're nice to them. Very common place here. Almost every instructor and dive master you'll see will have what we call a tickle stick, or a little metal stick that we use to encourage octopus out of their holes.
Now, our friend Sakura from Japan wants to know, can you compare all of the islands? Okay, I like this question.
I'll say an island, you'll say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Hawaii.
Dolphins.
Maui.
A white-tipped reef shark.
Molokai.
No hammerheads.
Kona.
Manta rays.
Lanai.
Guacamole, the frogfish cathedrals. I loved it.
Kauai.
Kauai, green sea turtles. Why I wanted to make this video was because we just spent a year and a half living in Kauai, and maybe you just got a job offer in Kauai. They sure are always posting because they can't keep their instructors. So if you're thinking about moving to Kauai, I would say don't do it. Just let that opportunity pass you by. But if you move to Kauai, you have to get a car right off because it's such a big island and everything's like 20 miles away. And then you're gonna have to probably put down a 1-year lease. So if you get here and don't like it, like you're trapped for like a year. It's just not a lot of diving. There's only one shore diving spot. It's not incredible coral. It's a lot, like 2 months of the year, you probably cannot dive because blackout conditions in the water. So it's just really hard to pay your bills on a rainy month, and it's just not probably the best place to come. If you really have your heart set on Hawaii, I would say Maui.
Or just don't let them sugarcoat an offer for you. People like to say it's Hawaii. People are wealthy. They'll tip you really good. But it will never be what they promise you it's going to be. They will say you're going to make thousands of dollars a month. You won't. You'll make like $1,000 a month.
Wow. I kind of like it this way.
Oh, your dolphin is way out there now. That was so cool. I just saw him air all the way out. Yep, right here.
Oh,
Look, you see him jump in?
Yes. I saw the dolphin.
So cool.
Right
Yes, he's
there.
coming this way. I'm gonna try and record this.